Hi, Beck from Natural Creative Therapy and Counselling here. Today I want to do a video about compatibility. I don't know whether you've ever heard about compatibility within the framework of couples counselling or workshops, but really it's actually the solution that we're looking for when we come in wanting help with our arguments or disagreements in a relationship. It doesn't really matter how this tension comes about, it kind of boils over at some point and we're in need of some third-party assistance. I'm here to let you know that from my perspective, compatibility is what we're really aiming for, and the best way to actually do this is become conscious and aware so that we can do it. Compatibility means that you as a couple are willing and capable to meet each other's unmet needs. It doesn't matter who we are, we have unmet needs and desires. None of us have had perfect parents, none of us have had perfect upbringings, and so there are desires and needs that are constantly working away in the background. And if you're not conscious of them, they are still working, just unconsciously. It's just that you are blind to them. So what we do when we talk about compatibility is about each party understanding what those unmet needs and core desires are that drive their thoughts and behaviors on a daily basis. Did you know that 80 to 90% of our behavior and thoughts are unconsciously primed until we become aware and conscious of why are we thinking this way? How does this thought or this behavior assist or sabotage me? Until we're really consciously working on ourselves and the relationship spaces and contexts that we're in, we actually have no power to change them. And so that's where your power lies, in understanding yourself and what needs and desires actually drive the things that you do on this earth. Therefore, in a romantic relationship, it is good, if we're able to be conscious of those things before we start the relationship, but certainly those things will come out in the wash when we have a romantic relationship that lasts for a longer period of time. And we usually say at about the 2-year point, this is where the tension starts to build. We've made some commitments to each other and we start to see the other side, the shadow aspects, if you might, of that partner. What matters most is this person willing? Are they willing to understand me, to meet those needs? Are they willing to try and put in the effort? Are they then capable? So willing and capable are important because you could be really willing to meet your partner's needs, but not yet capable. And if you find yourself in that position, your partner is making requests of you of things that you don't feel are within your capacity, are within your field of ability to deliver what that person is asking for, that's okay. The willingness from my perspective is the most important part, because capacity is something that you can work on. Capacity and understanding, capacity to resource yourself, capacity to act and exercise until you are able to meet your partner's needs and therefore be compatible. If you're unwilling or your partner is unwilling, that's where we have more of a challenge. If you're unwilling to explore that, if you're unwilling to resource yourself, if you're unwilling to work on that space between, then we'd find that there is less compatibility. Now you might ask the question, well, how compatible? Are we looking for 100%? No, we're not looking for 100% because each day our desires and needs change. And there is the complexity of all relationships, is that they're not static. They're not defined at some point as being done. They're constantly evolving. Your needs, your desires, your wants are constantly changing and taking new shapes. And so our relationships need to be able to be flexible enough to cater for that. So if there's one thing that you take away today from all that information, it's that compatibility is built up in your relationships from the other party's willingness and capacity to hear you, to understand your needs and requests, and be able to work towards in some sort of active, proactive way for that. If you have people in your life in relationships that are willing to do that, then you will find them immensely valuable, because what they're doing is meeting those unmet needs, loving you in ways that you haven't before, or ways that you're specifically asking, and you will find that greatly fulfilling. If you're interested in couples therapy, please do reach out, but otherwise have a great day.